This is how I've received the computer. So let's do a speed test. As you can see, it doesn't even make 5 megabits per second, and upload is, well, almost completely useless. Now, according to PB, there's nothing wrong with this. Now, this is what I'm going to do. You can see the computer here, and the Wi-Fi connections is just on the back. On top of this, I've stood my laptop, and we're going to do the same speed test using the same everything, and the antennas of both are within about 8 inches of each other. Exactly the same speed test as I previously did on the main computer. Slightly different, as I'm sure you will agree. Now, PB, who've had the computer back to have a look at it, tell me there's nothing wrong with it. Now, my upload speeds are always relatively low. Now, some interesting things about this computer. I went to PB and said I want a new computer for video editing for my YouTube channel, basically. And they've come up with this model, and I have to say, for editing video, it's super fast and really good, even in 4K. So from that point of view, it's been perfect, and I can't fault it at all. Because I have what's called rural broadband here, because we don't have fibre, and the copper network, well, it's a non-starter. It's slower than snails can get there faster than that. So rural broadband is basically, for those that don't know, it's a 4G. It works on the 4G network, the same as the cell phones do. And it is actually very good. I can't complain about it at all. So you can imagine my disappointment when I pay quite a lot of money for a poor pensioner and I can't use the internet. And you take it back to PB and they say they've tested it and there's nothing wrong with it. Well, let me update you as to what's happened. I took it back initially and they said leave it with us for 2 weeks because they've got no staff, because all the staff are on holiday at the same time, which, bad management. Anyway, we won't go there. These things do happen. So initially I thought it was the actual card that receives the Wi-Fi network. So I said, well, look, if you can't see it I can't give it to you for 2 weeks. That's just ridiculous. Get me a card and I'll put it in. So there I am in their service department repairing my own computer, which was fine because it got me what I wanted and helped them out, I guess. Just glad I wasn't charging myself for it. Anyway, I got home and it was no difference whatsoever. So there's clearly nothing wrong with the card itself. It seems to be, the issue seems to be its interface between the card and the motherboard itself. Now, further tests I've done since I got home. I took the computer into the lounge where the modem is, and when you're very close to the modem, it actually works quite well, which is probably why PB didn't think there was a fault with it, because they obviously have their modem somewhere in the building, and they tested it and they got good numbers. And also, if you take an Ethernet cable and plug it straight into the computer, it's lightning fast. So there's nothing actually wrong with the card. at all. It's something to do with the motherboard or the interface. This is the Wi-Fi card. There was no manual or instructions of any sort came with this, as it was pre-fitted into the PC, but it's clearly an Archer T4E dual band. Doesn't tell you which dual bands, but it's a dual band nevertheless. Now there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. I've actually tried it in my other computer and it works fine. I've removed it from the computer because it's completely useless. Now when I say useless, I don't mean there's anything wrong with this product. To me it must be, or it looks like this particular card could be incompatible with the motherboard, but I've got no way or any knowledge to test such things. So I'm using the Wi-Fi over the mains that I showed you previously, and whilst that's still not as fast as my laptop, it's the best I can do, and it's adequate, shall we say. Trim thing. I bought one of these, well, a pair of these, and it's basically Wi-Fi over the mains power supply. So I've spent another $85 to put something right that shouldn't have been wrong to start with, which in itself makes me cross. But this does work. I'll show you. Quite a bit faster, but nowhere near my laptop. And I don't think this is a computer issue. I think it's purely the internet over the mains power. But clearly it's usable as opposed to the Wi-Fi link, which was completely unusable. I know some people are going to say, oh, it's purely the distance that's making the difference. But clearly, for the first test that I showed you with my laptop placed millimeters away from the antennas on the computer, that's not the case. And in fact, I'll show you how close it actually is to the modem. I'm afraid we've got a bit of a handheld job here, but there you can see the computer in this room. I'm going to show you exactly where the modem is. I come out of the room, take a left turn, and here is the lounge, and there is the modem down there. So it's as close as this. There's the wall, and the office is the other side of that, so there's roughly 17 feet. There's the wall again, and what have we got here? Probably about another 12, 13 feet. I've got a computer that is useless as far as the internet's concerned, except via that wireless link. Now, there is another way around that which I've tested and gives super fast results, and that's obviously an Ethernet cable. But I would need probably 35 feet of cable. I don't have to go round the outside of the lounge. I'd have to make a hole in the wall to drag the cable through. I don't know why I'm pointing because you can't see me. And then bring the cable up here to make it work. Well, I could do that. Again, that's probably another $35, $40 of cables. But the thing is, I shouldn't have to, because my previous computer, which ironically also came from PB, which I had for nearly 8 years without issue, stood in exactly the same position and it worked perfectly well. So clearly it's not the adapter, it's something within the computer. Now I've looked at the settings as far as an unknowledgeable person in computers is concerned, and so have PB. They've said, oh, it's my VPN, even though it wasn't even switched on or connected. and they've made various adjustments which has made zero difference. What can I do? I could take it down the garden and kick the